Hey, welcome back to the CommonGround North Dakota Podcast. I'm Heather.
And I'm Jen.
I've been a chef for 10 years.
And I'm a registered dietitian. We've all heard the saying, farm to table. But what if the conversation was table to farm?
Join Jen and I as we sit down with ag experts to dig in and find out more about North Dakota agriculture. All right, welcome back to CommonGround North Dakota Podcast. I'm Heather.
I'm Jen.
And we're here for another episode.
We are. We had so much fun talking to Sarah Lovis.
Yes, she was so knowledgeable.
Man, she really had like us amazed at all her knowledge,
Yes.
like on soil types and what they're called and all the things that have changed in agriculture even since we were growing up.
Right. And all the pests that come in and how to deal with those.
The soybean aphids and how it wasn't actually a problem before and now it is.
Right.
Interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
and today we're going to learn something more. Well, like speaking of the soil,
right.
What goes into the soil.
Yes.
Right.
And the different types of seed.
Yes, which we don't know about.
No, we really haven't got into the details on that. So I'm excited to learn more as we always do, right?
Yes.
So welcome, Scott.
Hey, glad to
Scott.
be here. Wow.
Our seed expert.
You're a seed expert.
I'm an expert in my own experiences.
That's awesome. So Scott, talk about like your background and like how did you get involved in agriculture and what is your current role?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up near Drayton, North Dakota, which is, just north of here, about 40 minutes, and grew up about 500 feet from the place of work every day, so it gets in your blood, right?
Yeah.
And one older brother, both parents obviously involved in the farm operation and seed plant.
Okay.
And, went to NDSU for a few years.
Okay.
Studied agronomy.
Nice.
Did some research in crop production as well.
Okay.
And came back to the farm and seed plant. And so my older brother basically runs the farm, and I help manage the seed plant with a great team of folks.
And so how does that happen? Is that unspoken, or do you and your brother kind of work it out? Did you have that plan before you went to college?
Not really. I don't think anybody truly knows what they're going to do. But when you grow up in it, I mean, it just, like I said, it gets in your blood, and you go off and learn what you can and bring back all those tools and, apply them to in my case, a family business.
Right.
Nice.
And so it's like I said, we got a great team of people. So to come back to some good situation and hopefully improve it, that's my goal.
So how long has the seed business been in the family? When did it start?
Yeah, 1974, according to the doc. So,
was that your grandpa then that started it?
So grandpa and my dad, Roger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So Roger went to NDSU as well, and he worked at a couple different places. Came back to the farm. Farm wasn't big enough, so he had to find something else to do from a source, another source of income, and farm just wasn't big enough.
Okay.
And so he started cleaning wheat. There was very few people that were able to clean wheat and barley, within Walsh County, other than a few. And so there was a great opportunity. Everything was pretty much wheat and barley.
Okay.
And which, you'd help raise the foundation seed stock. You get a new variety.
Okay.
And which we'll talk about. But you only have small amounts of that. So you increase it, you got to clean it, and distribute it throughout the county so that other growers have an opportunity to get new genetics on their farm.
Oh.
And so, wheat and barley was a big part of that. And then over time, a lot of that stuff just goes away, whether the maltsters wanted to deal with more of the seed or there just became more seed dealers, more seed companies. You got to find a way to diversify.
Sure.
Okay.
And so, it was wheat and barley still was a foundational crops that we would condition or clean. And then we've branched off into canola seed.
Okay.
Hybrid canola seed.
Okay.
Mustard seed. So just for food consumption use, you pick up your
seed.
Okay. You're at the baseball game.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, yeah.
Really?
So
Are we growing mustard seed in North Dakota?
we are.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's something new.
Interesting. Okay, but wait a second. You got to break down the cleaning the wheat.
Yeah,
Like,
what
what does
goes
that
into that?
entail?
Yeah. So, I mean, from a cleaning process, the basic foundational things for cleaning seed hasn't changed a lot, in the last 50 years.
Okay.
There's new equipment, new, different details within those machines, but the main principles are you got a set of screens that have a slot in them, right? So that any weed seeds, which I'm going to give you a little sample here.
Okay.
Right?
He's got seeds, folks.
Okay.
So you take a look at those. Those are fresh. Those are fresh off the combine.
Yes.
Those are
These
fresh
are
off the combine
cool.
yesterday.
So what they
Little
kind of look
brown
like
guys?
sunflower seeds a little bit.
It's
like
kind of
that.
remind me of like a little bit of barley, a little smaller.
Yeah, a
Almost
little bit.
spelt
Well, if you
like?
peel off the husk of the barley, it looks a lot like wheat.
Okay. These are fresh, huh?
But you see all those little guys in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are
some
those?
chaff and some different things in there. So you're going to use, some screens to get all the small stuff out.
To sift through all those. Okay.
So you have a more pure product, is
Right,
and then you're not like getting weeds and stuff in
Yeah.
there. And like,
I mean,
okay.
not that the weeds are bad for you.
Yeah.
But most people at the grocery store don't want to see weeds in their product.
Yeah, I'd rather
I
not.
suppose
You'd rather not. Yeah.
I appreciate that you do that.
So we're here to help the world. So
Okay.
so after you kind of run those over a course of screens, you run some air through that too. So any of that light stuff will come off.
Oh, the dust.
The
Kind of those
dust.
little
Little
particles.
dust. Yep. So after you kind of run over some screens, get some air on it, you run over kind of what I would call a density separator. So I mean, you have different weights there.
Oh.
Wheat is the test weight of wheat it's just a volumetric thing.
Okay.
So whatever it weighs into this maybe 1 pint cup, what is it? And it's roughly 60 pounds.
Okay.
So the universal measurement for wheat is about 60 pounds.
Oh.
And so that density separator is going to separate some of that light seed
You don't want that.
with the heavy stuff. So the good stuff goes the direction we want,
Okay.
and the lighter stuff goes somewhere else. Because you can get diseases, you can get different things in that kernel, and you gotta have a way to get it out.
So you're trying to keep a high quality product.
Absolutely,
Is your goal.
absolutely.
Okay.
So
we got-
I'm a farmer. I bring my wheat to you and you separate it for me, or is that what's happening?
Or do you grow it
Yeah.
and then sell it?
Yeah, so we will grow it. We'll contract grow. There's other growers that are producing different varieties for us,
Okay.
Okay.
and then so for us, it's to receive that product and to clean it to our spec and to sell it.
Wow.
And it's planting seed for next year. So right now we're in the field, right? And now we're harvesting this crop, and now we got to get it cleaned.
Okay.
And then we got to get it ready for next spring already. So you're always 1 year ahead, or you're always
Okay.
thinking forward on what's going to be the variety that's going to hit next year.
Yeah.
Or what might that be? So you're trying to make some assumptions moving forward if there's a new varieties or not. So.
You're not storing it. It's from the very previous year.
Well, we will store it. So when we bring this product in, basically now, and in August, September, some of that product will condition throughout the rest of the year. But I mean, obviously, the more you can turn inventory, the better.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, you plan on storing it. The growers will store it, or
Okay.
we'll store it as clean product at our facility.
Okay.
So you started with mainly wheat and barley, but what other seeds do you do?
I mean, there's canola, mustard, and so those are products that are grown everywhere, and there's a big demand on the oil markets right now too. So I mean, canola has like 40% oil.
Yep.
Mustard, of course, is spice, so there's always demand
Yeah.
for that. So we clean those. There's other products like buckwheat, sorghum.
Really?
Some
Are we
of the-
growing buckwheat?
And some of those are grown on the southeast part of North Dakota.
Oh, really?
But we're kind of on the northern fringe of some of those crops.
Okay.
I love buckwheat,
Yeah.
which
Buckwheat
is misnamed
pancakes.
because is it a wheat?
It's more of I don't know. It's considered. There's a little bit debate about
Yeah,
that.
but it's really good for us.
Yeah.
Lots of fiber.
And you get into we're talking about wheat, which obviously there's gluten in wheat,
Yep.
Right.
and you deal with other crops that don't have gluten,
Like buckwheat.
like buckwheat.
So are those separate facilities
They
then?
are separate.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some-
cross contemmination.
There's some strict protocols.
Yeah.
there.
Yes, there
I
is.
assume so.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
Yep. So there are certain buyers that do. There, as there's different markets for different products,
Yep.
and there's demand for, there's demand for non-gluten
Mm-hmm.
products, and there's demand for products that do contain gluten.
Yep.
So
since you have food safe products, you're probably highly regulated then.
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of certifications that you have to go through.
Okay.
And I mean, those are always, I mean, they're for our own benefit, you know, to
Right.
ensure that we have protocols and procedures in place to do the best job we can. And yeah, we get audited. I mean, we'll have FDA come in
Okay.
and inspect our facility and do different things. So yeah, we kind of have two different roles there, right? We're dealing with planting seed,
Right.
you know, and then, but we're also dealing with food grade products. So
Yeah.
there's food grade wheat berries that'll go to mills and they'll mill into flour
Yeah.
and they'll do whatever products that they're, you know, that they're making. So there are different pathways that we can go with it. And I mean, we don't have a log 5 kill step to where we're sterilizing that product, but you know, it's deemed safe food.
Okay.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I can get some buckweed from you? Is that what you're
Come on
telling
over.
me?
Come on over.
Oh, that's-
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
I don't want to deprive your grocery store. No, I'm probably relying on you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So I mean, it seems like you do a variety of things, and you mentioned it's always evolving because you never know like
Well,
what the market is going to.
It is. It's always a guessing game. I feel like that's anything in ag, you know, and maybe just in general, but you got to adapt if you want to, you know, and but things are always changing. I mean, as far as the cleaning process and other things there, you know, you go through that density. The one thing that's changed, that's really changed a lot in the processing side of things is there's some defects with those seeds and you
Okay.
couldn't get them out with the previous equipment a lot of times. So now there's color sorters. So imagine this seed basically falling down a, you know, basically a gate of some kind and a slide, and you got cameras all around it taking pictures of all those seeds constantly. And so if you can program, right, you know, fusarium is a huge issue with wheat.
Okay.
Can be. And so it's usually white or kind of pink that will, you know, determine whether it has fusarium disease or not. We don't want that.
Right.
So the color sorter essentially will take pictures of that and kick it out with a blast of air. So it's just like a little waterfall and blast air and it's out. And so that has been probably a game changer on the
Wow.
That's amazing. The
cleaning side.
technology aspect has completely changed the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at your iPhone now, you know. I mean,
That's true.
I don't need to hire a professional photographer anymore.
No, I got my little camera and like my little computer, and it's all in one nice little.
Yeah.
Yes, compact. But that's also an investment for you. I can
is.
imagine that equipment is expensive.
It is. And the biggest thing that we have to stand on is quality, right? So like at the end of the day, you need the best job you can.
Yep.
And so the color sorter and other, you know, the people obviously is what makes it too. So, but yeah, that's all we got at the end of the day is quality. So you do the best job you can.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like just to learn about like what goes into like seeds. So like,
Right.
what if, I mean, how do you determine like what the next best thing would be for your business? Like, do you talk to consumers or talk to grocery stores, or who would tell you like, hey, can you start growing this type of seed for us?
Yeah. I mean, you like anything, you got to have a network of folks to deal with. And there's always things changing and new things. I mean, you walk through the grocery store, which I like to do. I mean, I like
Me
walking
too.
through a lot of
Same.
different places.
Yeah. Love a grocery store. Every
I know.
aisle. I'm going down every
Hours.
single
I'm
aisle.
like, ooh, this is
Yeah,
fun.
that's why it takes me 2 hours to shop.
Same.
Like,
Oh
I'm
my
just rolling.
gosh.
And I want to
Excellent.
be by myself.
Yep.
No one's
No
with me.
distractions.
It's just me.
No, just you and your beats. So, but I do like going to the grocery store and seeing all the diverse range of products.
Yep.
And you know, we're focused a lot on conventional stuff,
Okay.
non-GMO wheat, but there is the organic part of things too, right? And there's a market for both.
Yeah.
And so I see a lot of diversity happening on both of those market segments. And, you know, it just depends on the taste of the consumer. And you just you look at market information, but just talking to a lot of customers, a lot of food customers, or, you know, we'll dictate some of those things that, what do you want to change? What should we do?
Yep.
And are you all domestic or do you do any international?
Very little international.
Okay.
I would say mostly domestic.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a couple of customers where, I mean, I look at a simple thing like soy sauce.
Yeah.
You know, what does it take to make soy sauce? You know, maybe some soybeans and maybe some wheat. And there's a process for that, and I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
So there are some, depends on how you make it, there are, wheat is involved in a lot of things that we do on a day-to-day basis and consume. And so it's, wheat is one of the biggest commodities in the world. When you compare it to corn and soybeans, it's right up there. It's grows everywhere except maybe Antarctica.
Oh, that's crazy.
You brought some wheat in today for us.
Brought some wheat. I hear you guys are talking a little soil action here.
This looks fake. It's so pretty this week.
I know.
But this is getting, now early in the season, obviously it's a little greener. Now we're at maturity, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a yellowy color.
Amber
waves of green.
I would say. I mean, and then you still have the soil on the bottom.
No, that's some nice North Dakota soil right there.
That is.
Yeah. And what's the technical term, Heather?
Oh my gosh, I'm sweating. I can't remember. Don't tell Sarah.
Didn't it start with an A?
It did. It was a tough word.
Do you know what that is, Scott?
Do you know what type of soil this is, Scott?
And I'm going to go with the Fargo-Hagnay clay soil here.
Yep.
Wow,
That's what it is.
Of course he knows. I was going to say you have to listen to our last episode, but he doesn't.
The scientific name?
He knows.
I don't know.
Thank you, Lake Agassiz.
See? I should have got that.
You should have got
Lake Agassiz.
half a point at least. Okay.
But, so this last year it was a little dry in the spring.
Okay.
Had some flooding. So that heat really kind of probably damaged the crop a little bit early on. And harvest is just starting, so we'll see. Wheat is a pretty resilient plant.
Okay.
But typically we'd see a little bit more spikelets on there, and those spikelets are just on the top of the head.
These are these little guys?
Those little guys.
Sticking out? Okay.
They look like a broom. Yeah. It almost kind of looks like a broom.
Right. So,
and they're kind of like rough.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of
the more of those, the better?
Well, it's just part of a plant breeding process. They do have wheat varieties that don't have, call those awns. And so there are wheat varieties that don't have awns.
I like them.
Yeah.
I think they add.
Yeah. They're not, you definitely don't want to wear shorts when you're walking through the field.
No, it's bristly, you guys. It feels like Velcro. It's like.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's so pretty.
So those are, in spring wheat. So spring wheat is the main, there's all sorts of classes of wheat, but hard red spring wheat is the majority of what's grown here in North Dakota.
Okay.
And so that's the majority of what we work with.
Okay. So not winter wheat?
Very little winter wheat. There is some, but it's it's about 6% in North Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Really?
On the wheat acres is 6%.
Yep. Interesting.
And what percentage is this?
About 78.
Okay.
Yeah. So by far.
Right.
Yeah. And throw some durum in there for the pasta folks.
Yeah.
Right?
We need that.
And that's probably about 15%.
Okay. And does that change, or has it been that?
I think it changes on the market. The market dictates a lot, and that's as producers and buyers and sellers, we're always looking at what are the production regions, how are they doing? Do we have to be prepared to buy more now so that whether it's based on price or whatever it might be, what is just going on in the marketplace?
Sure. Because do you ever run out?
Well, it's possible.
Okay.
We don't like to.
Right.
But
get it while it's hot.
Yeah, get it while it's hot. Yeah.
So how do you know when this is ready to harvest? How do you typically know?
So what you should do is you could take one of those off, and you should rub it in your hand and see how many wheat kernels pop out.
Can I do that?
Sure you can.
How many do you want?
I'm going to charge you a royalty for doing it, but that's fine.
I'm worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when did you pick this?
So go in your hand. Just
I
just this morning. Jeez,
I know.
It's a new game for kids here.
I think it's ready.
We did this morning. We grabbed it this morning.
Wow. I feel like it's ready.
I'm harvesting on the table, guys.
So you can
right on the table.
That's
you can stick
cool.
your fingernail in there, maybe, unless you chew your
Out
fingernails.
they come.
No, I don't.
But we'd like to usually see about 15 to 20 spikelets on that head. And it might not be that much this year, in particular the sample I grabbed, but in an ideal world, you like to see about 50 seeds in that spike.
50 seeds per spike. How many do you have, John?
Oh,
I have a couple.
I don't know. I'm like counting. Is that something you do? You count seeds?
Yeah. I just visually look and,
You know by now.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that looks like a good one.
Yeah, just like me with spices when I'm cooking. I just know. I don't measure.
Yeah.
I know.
A pinch.
Yeah.
What's a pinch?
Right?
I don't know what a pinch is.
You just know.
Yeah.
Like, right? That's why I didn't do so good in quantity foods, because I'm like more of a cook than a baker. You know how like baking is more of an exact science.
It's more precise.
And cooking is like, oh, like I'll just sprinkle a little more oregano, and then it was, Miss Strand, did you measure that? I'm like,
no, I didn't.
And the kids won't eat it because it's too spicy.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Plain, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Make food plain. How many do you think is in there?
So then I'm just planting one of these guys?
So when we clean it, right, we're going to bring that in and we clean it and process it. We're going to get a bunch of the individual of those seeds. So if you took a pound of seed, which I don't know, maybe it's a couple coffee cups.
Okay.
You might have anywhere from 10 to 14,000 seeds per pound. Okay. And like I said earlier, wheat is measured in about 60 pounds. That's a bushel.
Okay.
It's a bushel of wheat.
Okay.
That's how it's traded. And if you can imagine an acre, which let's say it's a football field, because that's about what it is. One bag, so one 60-pound bag would roughly have 1 million seeds in it.
Okay.
Right? And that one bag will plant that entire football field.
So 1 million seeds per acre.
60-pound bag would plant a football field.
Yeah.
That's a lot of seeds needed.
That is a lot of seeds.
It's a big area to get a lot of seeds in.
It is.
Yeah.
I still have to sometimes like, is that right?
They must just be like cuddled up next to each other when you're planting.
Yeah,
is that
they're
a
spaced
technical
out.
term that you use a lot?
Cuddled up.
I wouldn't say cuddled up. I wouldn't say cuddled up.
We're very techie, Heather and I.
Wow.
But
I
some
went to
varieties
guess
do
that.
more.
That's a lot.
But some varieties require more.
Okay.
You know, the bigger the seed, and you have to plant more. But some varieties respond. Like when I say 1 million seeds, they might respond all the way up to 2 million seeds. They might respond from a yield perspective. So the more seeds you plant, the higher yield you get. Not always the case, but some varieties do respond to a higher seeding rate. So the more seeds you put down, the higher yield you get, or the more bushels you get, right? Because what's the average bushel in North Dakota? 38 to 40 bushel per acre, right? So 40 bushel per acre. And you're planting that one seed, you know, on that 1 million seeds on all those acres, and you're utilizing, say, a 60-pound bag, and you're getting that much in return. That's pretty cool.
That's really good.
Is. Wow.
You know, replication.
Yes.
So yeah, certain varieties are different. They respond differently, and that comes down to probably some agronomics. You know, you want to make sure you have the best quality seed, right? And then it's variety selection. You know, you talked about soils, different soils. You gotta change your rate based on that.
Okay.
And then also, you know, when you come to the actual seed, you got insects and diseases that are always trying to get in that seed directly. Right? There's pests that we have to control, otherwise we're not going to get a crop.
Right.
And so there's certain things that you can put on that seed to help protect it.
Okay.
Prior to planting?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Once it's in the ground, you can't go back and do it.
Like pre-treating?
Pre-treating.
Okay.
So essentially, you're putting on a fungicide, insecticide on that seed to help protect it so that it can survive, and so we can get 40 plus bushels per acre or more, depending on where the growing area is. But you're doing your best job to protect it.
Okay.
So get it off to a good start.
Yep. Makes sense.
And then throughout, you know, you got to manage these weeds. You see all these weed seeds in that one sample.
Yeah.
There's some
Yep.
Those little ones?
foxtail and all sorts of those
Okay.
grasses.
We don't want those.
You
You don't want to
them.
plant a weed.
No, I don't want to plant a weed.
No. We want these.
Yes.
We want these seeds.
So to control those, you know, you can do some, you know, tillage, right? You can till the field a little bit. Just try to get anything early season weeds out of there, so you're going on a nice planting bed. And the other part is you can use some herbicides, right? And herbicides, I mean, if you, for what it actually takes to control those weeds, you know, on a per acre basis, again, I mean, the actual active ingredient that's used to control those broadleaf weeds or grasses, you know, would probably be about half of this cup.
So half a cup.
So small.
You know, which
such a small amount.
It is such a small amount. So you're doing those types of things to again get the best crop.
Yep.
and throughout you're applying fungicides, because you can kind of look at those leaves there. They look a little, well, they're matured. They're not quite as, prolific as they once were.
Mm-hmm.
And so you put on a fungicide there to help protect that leaf.
Okay.
To make sure you don't have any, tan spot or other bacterias or different things that can get on that flag leaf. Because if we want the most seeds in that head, we got to protect the leaves, because that leaf is going to be doing the photosynthesis and helping make us some yield.
Okay.
So the leaves are really important too.
Yeah. So that, the shriveled up leaf there that once was, that's about 75 that leaf right there, which is pretty close to the head.
I broke it off.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
There's another one here. These did you call these a flag leaf?
We call them a flag leaf. Yeah, it's like, and it's like capture some sunlight here.
Yeah.
And convert it into some food and help feed the head.
Cool.
So a flag leaf is really important.
Okay.
And that'll equate for, if you can keep that top leaf healthy, that equates to about 50% of the yield.
Really?
That's cool to know.
So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
50% of the yield.
Yep. So a lot of photosynthesis going on there.
I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're giving us a lot of math lessons, a lot of science.
You know
you're
how I am
hitting
at
it
math.
all. Right?
I love it.
Yeah.
No, that's really interesting to learn about, like, what all goes into producing like quality seed, because that's really the goal, and like, what do you need to know,
right?
And what do your consumers want?
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, I think I had like over 20 seeds in that one head.
Might have been on the outer edge of the field or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to walk.
Yeah,
all
you
the
weren't
way in
gonna-
there. I wouldn't in that brush like it.
Yeah.
It would be.
But
itchy.
thanks for bringing these in. I've never seen them
really,
up close.
Really awesome to actually see the product, like
Yes.
get to feel it and harvest it on the table.
Well, like when it comes to the quality side too, I mean, like what makes North Dakota great about the wheat, and around the world, buyers come to North Dakota because we have the highest quality, and particularly with the spring wheat.
Okay.
There's around the world they can get up to 250. I mentioned we get about 40 bushels, right?
Right.
Okay.
Across the state.
Yeah.
Around the world they can capture up to 250 bushel.
But it's not as good.
It's not as good.
Okay.
And they can grow it for 11 months. We got a short window
Right.
in North Dakota to get our stuff done.
Right.
And so the biggest thing that we have is quality, and quality pertaining to the protein, is a big thing where we're getting 14 to 16% protein. And, you go to Australia or some of these other places, they have higher yield potential, but they don't have as good a quality. And so, there are, but we got to be cost competitive in the world too.
Sure. So what is that, Scott? Well, like, what's giving your seeds higher protein? Is it the soil? Is it the way you're growing it?
Is it the environment?
Yeah, I mean, all the above. The soil is a big part of it. That's what makes us unique here. And, we got a lot of water holding capacity. We got the depth of our black soils is quite significant compared to the rest of the world. And that helps, again, with the agronomics, applying what we need to apply, like putting on the nitrogen, putting on the phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, all the micronutrients that you need to put on from a fertility standpoint, is going to help get us better yield.
Yeah.
So we can get more bushels per acre,
Yep.
which growers love that.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but the quality. So if we can get above 14% or more, that makes us very unique, versus the rest of the world, because there's usually an inverse relationship. The more bushels you get per acre, generally the lower the quality.
Okay.
Lower protein.
Okay.
Right.
So, applying nitrogen and doing those types of things are going to get us there. And I mean, the agronomists out in North Dakota, they're constantly preaching, how do we get more bushels per acre? Because we got to have bushels, but we got to have quality too.
Yep.
Right.
And the consumer dictates that, the mill dictates that, and trying to find that happy medium as a producer or just involved in ag is a bit of a challenge because it does come down to the cost.
True.
Yep.
If you're a miller, you don't want to overpay for anything.
Right.
But you also need to put out a high quality product. So there's ways that they can blend and they can use our high quality stuff, maybe with some winter wheat tends to be, you mentioned winter wheat, small percent of acres, but winter wheat generally has lower protein.
Okay.
So there can be some blends and things that they do there.
Okay.
But I love that it always comes back to quality and you're not going to sacrifice quality.
Right.
Well, I don't think you can if you're going to be sustainable. We talk about sustainability, a lot of new terms, regenerative, all these things. You still have to get a product at the end of the day that's affordable. And, in the U.S., I think we're pretty lucky when you look at what do we pay, versus for our income, what do we pay for our food? It's pretty low. It's probably one of the lowest in the world. And I don't know the last numbers. But we're pretty fortunate because we're a low-cost producer and we have a high-quality product.
Yep.
Right.
And so, like in the U.S., it's as a whole, and specifically North Dakota, we can do that.
That is something to be thankful for.
Yes. I think
so much negativity in the world.
Right,
We got to shine a light on some positivity.
That's true. Because people are always complaining about food costs. Believe me, I get it. I'm on top of food costs.
Yep.
But really, in the whole scheme of things, we're pretty lucky.
Absolutely.
And we have so many options too.
Yep. And it costs more. It costs more to, as other things have increased in recent years. So have the inputs. And you get into all the world political things, and all they all affect us at a local level somehow, way, shape, or form. And so you got to try to keep that in perspective too. A lot of people around the world who aren't as fortunate as us.
Right.
So yeah,
we're lucky.
We are.
Yeah.
Are you feeling lucky right now? Do you want to do post halftime?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. We tied it up last time, Scott.
But now I think we did decide you won because you should have gotten a half a point.
I mean, I think so. But you know what? I'll leave it for now. I'll leave our trophy. This is our trophy, Scott.
That's beautiful.
It's the golden corn. So I put HNJ on it. I'm hoping for
that's
just
nice.
a J.
That's nice.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Looks like it's already dented. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We could put a little wheat in here now to kind
I
of
know.
offset. It could be a whole bouquet.
There we go.
You could. Yeah.
All right. We are ready with our whiteboard. So you'll ask us 3 questions, and whoever gets it right or closest will get a point.
Okay.
And we'll see who gets the golden corn.
All right. I didn't cover this one throughout, so I'm gonna have to spitball a little bit here.
That's okay.
But you got those wheat kernels in front of you.
Yep.
So on the outside layer of that kernel is the bran. The inside of it is the endosperm, which is all the flour.
Yep.
And then on the very bottom is the germ.
Okay.
Okay. So of those 3, what part of that wheat kernel contains the wheat plant embryo? A, endosperm. B,
I said the germ.
bran.
I did
C,
too.
germ. Oh, wait. No, we fine. All right.
It's germ?
Yeah, it's germ.
Okay, that was a total guess.
You probably brought wheat germ from the grocery store, maybe.
Yeah,
too.
it's good for us.
Yeah.
Sprinkle
High in
on that, sir.
fiber.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Tied it up.
All right. We talked about spring wheat in North Dakota.
Okay.
What % of the wheat grown in North Dakota is hard red spring wheat? What %?
Okay, well, you said it. And we listen.
All right. Wow. Gosh. Oh, well, yeah. You're
75%.
Oh, what was it?
You're like my 7-year-old.
Was it 75% or was it 78?
I just don't.
Was it 78?
It's 78. You're right.
Yeah, I'm like rounding.
Yeah. That was really close. I mean,
I kind of listened.
We're into the details here, okay?
I know.
See this one's a little more.
I am not a detailed for those that know me, obviously.
We're going to get into some mythology here. We didn't cover this, but I'm going to test your...
mythology.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so...
Okay.
Who was the Roman goddess who was deemed protector of the grains?
Really?
Oh my.
Gosh, I've never heard of her. She's real? Or supposedly?
I mean...
Protector of the grain?
Yeah.
She's gotta be...
I don't even know if this is
There is a, what do you, maybe you don't in the morning, but as a kid, I always had cereal in the morning.
With her name?
No, hey, you're on a time clock here.
Is her name Wheatie?
All right, time's up.
It's not Kix.
No.
I guess.
No.
I don't even want to show this.
I noticed he had a nice box of Wheaties in there, though.
Cheerios?
That really brings me back. Ken Herbeck and Charlie Bucket on there.
I don't even have a guess. What is it?
Ceres.
Oh.
Ceres. Yeah. Cereal. Huh?
Oh, okay,
Come on.
okay.
Oh. Ceres.
Oh, right.
Huh. Isn't that
That's right.
okay? So NDSU, Ceres Hall.
Hey, there might be a connection.
Got to find out.
I
It makes sense.
in Ceres Hall.
Yeah.
As a student intern.
Yeah.
Work study student in the Career Center.
It all
So
circles back.
all the sweet and Durham, and it's all part of the cereals group,
Okay.
agronomically speaking. So
Good to know. That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
That is.
yeah,
You could bring that out at a party.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know? It's Fun Facts by Jenn and Heather.
Yeah.
So
that's
Heather,
awesome.
not surprising.
Gosh,
Heather
this is
won again.
exciting.
I mean,
Just by 3
we should
percentage points, but it was close.
I know. I just have to remember details matter, Jennifer. Details matter. That's all right. I'll redeem myself hopefully at our next episode.
Yes. All right. So we have one last question for you before you go. What is your favorite part about being involved in North Dakota agriculture?
Yeah, I think just the diversity, and it always comes down to the people, but North Dakota, I feel like everybody knows everybody. And certainly in ag, I feel like everybody knows everybody. And I think, just with that network, I think everyone's trying to tell their story, as farmers and producers. I don't know if we're super great about telling our story. And I think that, there's a good network of people and the diversity that we have just to help, tell the story of North Dakota ag.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love hearing the stories.
Yes.
I think that's why this is so much fun for Jen and
Right.
I, because you're right. Everyone has a story, and that's the piece that's so interesting.
Mhm.
So,
It's always changing.
yeah.
It is. The connections matter, don't they?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much,
Yes.
Scott. It was so fun and educational.
And thanks for harvesting some wheat for us today.
yes.
That
This
wasn't
is
on our
great.
field. I stole it from someone else.
We
somewhere
won't
here.
tell.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I love it. Well, thanks so much for coming
Yes,
in.
thanks for coming in. Ooh, that was fun. Are you going to take your wheat home?
I mean, I feel like I should. It's something to be proud of. I harvested something
Yes.
today.
A little party favor.
I mean, and then I can educate them
Yes. There you go.
wherever I go today. Do you know what I did this morning?
Mm-hmm. Pull
I
your
love
wheat
it.
out of your pocket.
I have some sports education today. I'll be like, and
Yes.
this is the carbs that come from the
Mm-hmm.
fields.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Something new every day.
Some whole grains. When I ask them what a whole grain is, that'd be kind of cool. Like, this is actually a whole grain, and I harvested it by hand this morning. Fun stories.
Yes.
Fun facts.
That was good. I learned so much.
I did too. I'm excited for another episode.
Me too.
Learning more about agriculture.
Yeah, what's it going to be next?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yes, tune in next time. Common Ground North Dakota Podcast. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yes. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Common Ground North Dakota Podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Most importantly, send us your questions about North Dakota agriculture by visiting our website. You might win a prize. We'll see you in the next episode of the Common Ground North Dakota Podcast.